Kia ora koutou katoa. I'm Digby Worthmore, and I'll be taking you on a three-part web series documentary that's all about what it's like to be the media during a crisis or disaster. In our first episode, we'll look at Lisa Davies and how she covered the Pike River mine tragedy. In our second episode, we'll look at Steve Bloxham and how he acted as Chief Bureau at TVNZ during the 2011 earthquakes. Then, in our third and final episode, we speak with Jordan Oppett, who covered the March 15th attacks. Join me as I take you on a three-part series of what it's like to be on the other side of the television screen.
Some breaking news after reports of a shooting in central Christchurch this afternoon.
Your streets are washed and your hearts are aching.
Midday special on the mine explosion that's trapped 29 miners.
This is and will be one of New Zealand's darkest days.
I went to TVNZ to speak with Lisa about the coal mining tragedy that shook the nation on the 19th of November in 2010, where 29 men lost their lives after an explosion ripped through the remote Pike River mine on the west coast.
Well, initially we only had a very small amount of information. It was a Friday afternoon and we had initial reports that there'd been an incident at Pike River mine. I ended up doing a live into 6 o'clock news that night up on the roof of our building in Gloucester Street.
There could be as many as 35 unaccounted for. It's an underground mine, 2.3 kilometres deep.
We were really just finding out things as we were going live, and I guess that's something that's very typical of these breaking news stories, that sometimes it's really hard to get concrete facts right from the outset.
With a crisis like this, genuine connection is what matters.
It's an incredibly hard thing to do, to approach families when they're in a time of complete crisis. I think it's one of the hardest parts of the job, and it's not something that I'll ever take lightly, because, you know, when you make an approach to people, if they decide that they will talk to you, they in my view are putting the ultimate trust in you, that you're going to do what you've said you're going to do. I did a lovely interview with Keith Valley's brothers, and that was before the second explosion, and they still had hope that their brother would be brought out alive. The next time I saw them was after that second explosion, and there was no hope. And yeah, they're pretty tough moments as a journalist when you have started to develop a relationship with people and you're kind of on that journey with them. It's not your grief or pain, but you can't help but feel it alongside them.
Do you ever sit back and think, wow, this is a lot to take in?
It is a lot. I definitely have cried a lot covering these stories. But I think if I stopped being emotionally affected by them, then that would be the time to walk away from it. I just think journalists are humans too, and if we don't feel something, then we probably should be a bit worried.
A touching story from an amazing journalist. Lisa Davies has covered three major crises in New Zealand: the Pike River mine tragedy, the Christchurch earthquakes, and the mosque shootings. In our next episode, we interview someone who is in charge of distributing the news and sending people out into the field like Lisa.